Hey there, XRP traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Today's Wednesday, February 5th. Happy hump day. Hope you're well. And in this video, we're going to be discussing the news that had everyone losing their ever-loving minds. The ledger, the XRP ledger, halted. And we're going to be discussing all the details. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on it, but is it time to panic? Is this Armageddon? Personally, I don't think so. I think there was obviously some bad and some good that came from this, but we don't live in a perfect world. So that I'll start by saying that. But there's a few other things I want to share in this video as well, and we'll take a quick peek at the price chart. We're still bullish in my opinion. Before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future content, and feel free to follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. And as always, not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. And full disclosure, I do own XRP. A boatload of it. It's my number one crypto holding by a country mile. And before we jump into the news of the ledger halting and the chart, I want to just bring up and remind everybody that CME is set to launch XRP and Sol futures trading on February 10th if approved. So this was, I haven't heard anything, an update from it. So we'll assume that it's a go as of right now. If anybody's heard any different, please let me know in the comments. But as of right now, the expectation is they're set to launch on this coming Monday. And what's the significance of that? Well, generally, you see a futures product before a spot product. So this could be, and I've been saying for a while now that I think Litecoin is going to be the first one to get it, and then a toss up between XRP and Sol. And it's looking right like that is about to happen. So we heard, I think there was some news out today that Litecoin is going to be potentially the runner up. So again, kind of going in line with my thinking, but just keep an eye. We could see potentially, could be the second or last week of February where we get a XRP ETF, almost said Bitcoin. So just like Bitcoin, futures were available first and then a spot product came after. So we'll jump into the news. The XRP Ledger experiences temporary halt and recovers without losses. So obviously we don't want to see the network go down. We want 100% uptime, but 100% uptime is not realistic. It's usually 99.99999 or something, right? But there's going to be those very small times where, barely, it's almost as if it doesn't happen at all. It might happen, a couple of handfuls of times before, the ledger gets full-blown adoption. And it's like David Schwartz always said as well, like the ledger, it can't be dirt cheap in order to function the way it is. So who knows, with all the activity, that's more than likely, it was even more popular than Bitcoin, trading Bitcoin on certain exchanges. So you have to factor that in. And the network is still decentralized. It halted itself. It has a halting mechanism. And I mentioned this in the Pow Group private community as well. And I'll just bring it up so everybody can see, because I mentioned to the Pow Group private community, I said, here's the article: XRP Ledger temporary halts block production. Ripple CTO cites possible network drift. And then in there, I said, interesting read. But I said, let me go back there. It was right here. So I said, XRP and Sol futures set to launch on CMA. Oh, no, that's not the one. That was the Litecoin news, though. NYSE approval to convert Grayscale Litecoin Trust into spot LTC ETF. So again, in line with my thinking, then we're going to see Litecoin first, and then we should see XRP, in my opinion, and Sol. But it's probably a toss up between those two. I'm not sure which one it'll be. And I tried to get this video out a little bit earlier. I just haven't been feeling well, and a crazy busy day today. Here it is here. Interesting read. I said at least nothing was compromised, and the network halted itself and resumed itself. I'm sure we'll get more detail soon, which we did. I said I would be worried if the network wasn't able to correct itself on its own. So there's been other networks like Solana, for example. It's gone down many, many times, but it required, and a lot of these blockchains that go down, it requires some sort of human intervention. This wasn't the case. It happened with just the XRP ledger itself halting itself through its natural halting mechanism if it discovers a bug. And then it was about 64 minutes, I think it was, where it was down. And there was a funny meme going around the internet. It was saying XRP's down for 64 minutes, but still faster than Bitcoin transaction. So at the end of the day, funds were safe. That was one thing that they mentioned right off the bat. And then, not like no transactions were lost. We'll discuss all the details in a minute, but I want to say shout out to Mikkel as well. Everybody in the XRP community, unless you're living under a rock, should know Mikkel. And shout out to him. He's doing a fantastic job. He said basically the exact same thing as I did. He thinks it's a good thing overall that it shut itself down and resumed without any intervention, human intervention. That shows that it's working on its own and fully decentralized. And again, we don't live in a perfect world, so you're going to run into bugs here and there. But like I said, as long as the uptime is 99.9999% of the time, I work in the IT industry, and you never see 100% uptime, not even from Google or Amazon. So you have to factor in, emergencies and things that acts of nature. But, with regards to the ledger, it just gets, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? And like I said, the fact that it paused itself and was able to figure itself out spontaneously is what David Schwartz said. And it didn't even need David Schwartz, right? Like Ripple, the company, was created after XRP, the ledger and the decentralized virtual currency, right? So Ripple was created after XRP, and a lot of people think Ripple controls it, blah, blah, blah. It's not true. And what happened was they didn't even they didn't even have to do anything, right? So you have to remind yourself that it's not like they were able to, they're not able to halt it themselves or anything like that. So it's the network halting itself. And again, I can't stress enough that it's not a perfect world. You're going to run into some bugs here and there. But just listen to the details here. I won't read the whole thing. Most people probably have already read a synopsis of it from somewhere. But Ripple's XRP Ledger, one of the longest running blockchain networks, experienced a rare disruption as block production stalled at Ledger height 93 million and change before spontaneously recovering. So according to Ripple CTO David Schwartz, the issue stemmed from the network failing to publish validations, causing the consensus process to drift apart. So despite the disruption, XRPL resumed normal operations without requiring significant intervention from validators, right? So overall, I think this is a net positive. At the end of the day, I'm not a blockchain developer or expert. I'm not going to sit here and try to bore you with the intricacies of that. Like, we don't know how our iPhone works, but we don't need to know the inside and outside of a cell phone, the guts of it, to understand that it's going to be valuable, or it has any kind of utility, right? or that we trust it. It is what it is. It's like getting in a car and you drive it, right? That somebody has a lot smarter than us probably has figured it out, right? And you don't care to know, you just want to make sure it works. So, all of these bugs, I would be worried, like I said, if we had to get multiple humans involved and had to, like rewrite code or, start or stop it, manually, or restart the chain or something like that. That would obviously be detrimental because it would be a loss of trust. And in the financial world, it's all about trust, right? So, and not only that, you would lose transactions and it just wouldn't be good. So Ripple's XRP Ledger temporarily halted block production about an hour on Tuesday due to a possible network drift. The network has since fully recovered with no loss of assets or transactions reported. So overall, no harm, no foul, really. It was just a bug that was discovered, and it seemed to recover and fix itself without any human intervention, right? That's what we want. It shows that it is fully decentralized. So yeah, you can check out the full article here from Bitcoin.com news, or check out the myriad of different ones that are available now. But I just want to remind everybody as well that 50% corrections, 60% corrections are normal in a bull market. In the crypto industry, it can happen. I mean, we pulled back almost 50% there, just from the high at 340 down in a few weeks, down to 177. So that's about a 48% drop. I'll remind everybody that, as we see new cycles, the pullbacks generally become less and less, right? So if we take a look at the last bull market, we actually pulled back 68% before we went on another moonshot and shot up another 2,500%. So again, if we were to see something, let's just say, history doesn't always repeat, but it rhymes. Let's just say that happened again. 68% would be a back test of the monthly EMA 26. I can't see that being the most likely scenario. But if we were to run 2,500% after that, that'd put us at $27. And we hear that $27 mark quite often. Personally, I'm looking at somewhere around the $14 to $16 as the most likely scenario. We could see 17 to 27 on the very high end if things get really nutty. The longer in base, the higher this in space, they say. And we've been basing now for almost 8 years. So I would say that, if there's anything that could do it, it's XRP. And then also the Bitcoin fractals, like just the boom and bust cycles of Bitcoin's inception and price history over XRP is very similar. And again, that's what it's pointing to. And then whenever Bitcoin had its first ever monthly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross from the bottom where it bottomed out, it ran 13,000%. And that's right exactly around 15, 16 bucks on XRP if we were to go 13,000%. Like, you literally can't make this stuff up. And then if we use our fib extension tool and go from the high to the low, this is a nice area to kind of target for new price discoveries and new all-time highs, is these fib extensions, the 2.618, 3.618. And look, it's right there at the 4.618 and actually a little bit above it. So now let's look at what Bitcoin did from its high of the 2017 bull market to the low of the 2019 bear market. Same thing. It hit its 4.618 and then some. So again, if it went and then some, and it didn't base for nearly as long as XRP, what do we think could happen for XRP, right? That's the real question. And you have to think XRP is deflationary. It actually has a burning mechanism. So Bitcoin doesn't even have that, right? So you could argue it's a better store of value. And then if you take a look at the Fibonacci extensions, the 4.618 is just under $15. And if we went to that and then some on Bitcoin, well, that would put us somewhere around that $27 mark. So again, it's hard to make this stuff up, right? And then if you take even just this pattern here from the apex of this symmetrical triangle to where we broke out, it's saying, somewhere around that $7 to $8 mark. So again, $8 to $12, I think, is an absolute layup. They should be able to do it. No problem at all. Somewhere in this area here. But I think, this area here, very, very likely. And then if we get somewhere around here, then bonus. But I would say the most likely scenario, low end, very, very low end, I think $8 to $12, most likely scenario, somewhere around that $13 to $16, and then 17 to 27, is kind of what I'd be looking at on the absolute high end. I don't think we're going to $100 a cycle or anything like that. But overall, this is not to worry. We're just starting monthly consolidation. We haven't even backtested monthly EMA 12, and what goes up must come down, right? If we had no support, we have no support on the monthly down to 38 cents, and then we hit 340, we hit a new all-time high with no monthly support essentially. So we need to, even from this low here, the next support level that we had was 72% away. So you got your EMAs there and your different moving averages. But like I said, overall, we are extremely bullish. We just had the 50 and the 200 weekly bull cross, the 100 and the 50, the 100 and the 200 weekly moving average that bull crossed. We're trying to get back above all of our daily moving averages here at the moment. We did have a stochastic and a MACD bear cross, so we had a bit of a clue there to be cautious. But like I said, ahead of February 10th, if we do see futures approved that week, keep an eye out for an XRP spot ETF shortly after that, because I think the chances would absolutely skyrocket if that's what we see. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. Did you freak out? Did you lose your ever-loving mind? Because I know a lot of people were messaging me, and you have to remember that not a perfect world, and it was able to halt itself and recover itself spontaneously, to quote David Schwartz. So it's going to be an exciting time. I think we should see new all-time highs lead, again, not financial advice, but I think we should see new all-time highs leading into the end of this month. If not into, I think March is going to get pretty nutty. And then I'm going to be looking to exit about 80 to 90% of my crypto profits, more than likely, into, I'm going to have a long-term bag that I don't sell for X amount of time or ever. But, check out my XRP exit video for that. But, overall, I plan to cash out about 80 to 90% of my profits this cycle, and I think that's probably going to be sometime March or April. The only thing that's making me think it's going to extend is because Paul Atkins is supposed to come in sometime in April, and I could see the case ending with Ripple and the SEC being the blow off top and that final push. XRP ETFs, right? We get the hype from that. We get maybe some partnerships after as well. So I think that's what's going to get us there, and then ultimately, the rest of the sector is just going to melt up, and that's just going to bring everything with it. And XRP is going to be one of those coins, in my opinion, and I think it could go on to be the best performing one. So, like I said, I think April, Paul Atkins comes in because interim chairs typically don't settle high profile cases. So you're probably going to want to see somebody, be an interim chair replaced by the chair, which is going to be Paul Atkins, assuming he gets confirmed and everything goes good there. And then he would more than likely settle it pretty quickly. And then we have the strategic reserve. I think they said that it should happen within the first few months or so. And we could see the market absolutely erupt. If we see like a few $100 billion, right? If you take a look at every sovereign wealth fund, the average of some of the big ones is usually around half a trillion to $1 trillion. And if we imagine another $500 billion coming into this, and then if the US does it, how many other countries are going to do it? And if all these countries are doing it, why aren't the companies and the corporations going to do it, right? You see where we're going here? And the banks, SAB 121 was just repealed. So this is looking juicy, folks. I'm getting excited. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. We'll continue the conversation there. It's Rod with Pow Group. Once again, thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll catch you on the next one.